Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all of you are having a wonderful day. Thought I would come out here and talk to you all about my experiences at Comic Con. I know just my couple of my videos this weekend, I mentioned how I went to Comic Con, so thought I would let all you know how all of that went. Comic Con was a lot of fun this year. I actually went to Comic Con for the first time last year when it was here in Arkansas. It's held usually over at the State House Convention Center in Little Rock, and I really enjoyed it. I had a good friend of mine who used to go every year, and he passed away last year, and I decided to go last year in his memory. And also, I've been wanting to go for a long time because of different people who would attend who I've always wanted to meet, like different professional wrestlers and actors who do the voices for different cartoons and stuff like that I've been a fan of for many years. So my first Comic Con was last year, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, and it was really an awesome time. I was blown away by all of the people that were there. Many people there dressed in different costumes. You know, you'd see people dressed such as in outfits of people from like Mario, or like heroes such as Batman, Spider-Man, different characters from like Scooby-Doo, or just you name it. There's people usually dressed in something from a particular show. Yeah, the Star Wars fan club, the Star Trek fan club, Ghostbusters. Actually, I have a friend who's in the Ghostbusters Central Arkansas fan club, and I saw them at both of the Comic Cons I've been to, and that was really cool seeing all those guys. The last year, my first Comic Con, I was very fortunate and blessed to meet Jerry the King Lawler, WWE Hall of Famer, and it's really awesome getting to see him, especially considering a lot of the health problems he's had in recent years. He had that heart attack many years ago, back in 2012 on Monday Night Raw, and then he's had some strokes. He had one just recently, a few days ago, as I record this, and my thoughts and prayers are definitely with King and his family during this time. However, Jerry the King Lawler had a stroke about a couple of years ago, and so I was very thankful that I was able to meet Jerry the King Lawler last year and say hi to him and thank him for all the great entertainment from over the years, and had my picture made with him. And actually, funny enough, I know a guy who actually met him one time, and it was pretty neat to be able to tell him how I got to meet King. And yeah, Jerry the King Lawler was a very nice guy. And last year I was also able to meet the guy Scott, forget his last name, but he has voiced Scooby and Shaggy for several years. He actually voiced them on like Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and he even played as Scooby, the voice for Scooby and the Scooby-Doo films that were made back in the 2000s. That was really awesome meeting Scott last year, who does the voice of Scooby and Shaggy, and he was very friendly. I had my picture made with him as well. And then last year I also was able to meet some other individuals that were there, such as I saw the guy who voiced Mario for many years. I saw one of the individuals who voiced one of the Power Rangers. Also, last year I was able to meet the Hardy Boys as well, Matt and Jeff Hardy, and that was really cool meeting them, because I always enjoyed their matches back in the day with the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian, especially tables, ladders, and chairs. And the one tables, ladders, and chairs match I really enjoyed the most was their match they had at WrestleMania 17. And with Jerry the King Lawler, he was a legend, not just for WWE as an announcer and competing with them, but he also was a key player in Mid-South Wrestling. The territory ran out of Memphis, which is not too far from the area of Arkansas in which I'm located in. So, Jerry the King Lawler is really a big name in this part of the country in regards to professional wrestling. Kane was there last year. However, I was not able to meet Kane because he was there a couple of the other days that I was not able to make it down to Comic-Con. It's just like how this year I was not able to meet Sting or Kurt Angle. Well, Kurt Angle was supposed to be here this year, but due to flight delays and all, he was unable to make it. And then Sting was there today. However, just with my schedule at church and all, I was not able to make it down there. However, Friday, when I was at Comic-Con for this year's Comic-Con, in regards to wrestlers, I had the honor of meeting WWE Hall of Famers Jake the Snake Roberts, and many people will remember how he would have the big old python snakes with him when he'd come down to the ring. And also, he was Stone Cold Steve Austin's opponent at the King of the Ring back in 1996 whenever Stone Cold came up with the Austin 316 catchphrase that we all know and has really been like the major catchphrase of Stone Cold that people remember about him. And even to this day, Austin 316 t-shirts can be seen. Also, I was able to meet Jake the Snake's wife, Cheryl. She was there with Jake. And I was able to also meet Mick Foley. He was the other WWE Hall of Famer I met on Friday. And Mick Foley, he was a real nice guy too, like Jake. And, I've remember with Mick Foley, I've watched him for many years. I remember when I started watching wrestling with WWE anyway, back in 2000, it was after he had his retirement match whenever Triple H and him had the Hell in the Cell match. But whenever he was commissioner, it was later that year around the summer time and even into the fall and winter that year. And that's my earliest memories of Mick Foley. And it was really cool to be able to meet Mick. He was a very friendly man. And, while we didn't really get too much time to visit, I'm very fortunate and honored that I was able to meet him because of him being the hardcore legend that he is and the different roles that he played, such as Dude Love and Cactus Jack and Mankind. Just all them characters, and just Mick Foley, all the rivalries he's had over the years with Triple H and with The Rock and with Stone Cold and with The Undertaker, all these iconic legends that I enjoyed watching growing up during the Attitude Era. It was a great time to be alive and be a wrestling fan back then. The other couple individuals I met at Comic-Con this year, I was able to meet Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. And that was probably, while I enjoyed meeting Jake and meeting Mick Foley, I really enjoyed meeting Tom Kenny. I had to wait in line for about an hour to meet Tom because he was away from his station for a little bit. But it was a pretty good time in the line waiting on him and visiting with folks. And I did my Squidward Tentacles impression for everybody. Yeah, I can't believe Wesley wanted to meet SpongeBob like Barkley had Tom Kenny, who voices him. Thought you guys would enjoy my Squidward impression there. But yeah, Tom Kenny was a very nice guy. I could have honestly talked with him all day. If it wasn't for the time restraints, him needing to meet with other fans and all that. If had been like Tom and I meeting like at a restaurant or something like that, just like one on one, I mean, I could have talked with him all day. I mean, he's a very nice guy. And also, he was in Spyro the Dragon. It's one of the video games I enjoyed playing as a kid. And he also has done many other roles as well. And I believe, yeah, he also voiced Dog in Cat Dog, which was another one of my favorite Nicktoons. And I believe he also did the voice of Cliff, who was like the leader of the Greaser Dogs in Cat Dog. But the other couple of individuals I was able to meet at Comic-Con the other night, I met Priscilla Presley, and that was really cool getting to meet her, especially with my family and I being big Elvis fans. It was really awesome getting to meet Priscilla Presley, and she was a very friendly lady, and it was really awesome because I was able to tell her how I'd went to Graceland years ago, and she had asked me if I had been there, and I told her, yeah, man, I look forward to going back one day. And also, the other person I was able to meet that really stood out was the guy who played his animal mother in Full Metal Jacket. I always liked the film Full Metal Jacket. A big R. Lee Ermey fan. I always liked Mail Call and Lock and Load with R. Lee Ermey on the History Channel back in the day. And whenever he played as the sergeant of the Green Soldiers in Toy Story, and then when he played as the evil Sheriff Hoyt in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and the prequel to that film back in the 2000s. I mean, R. Lee Ermey, he really was a great patriot and a great Marine, and he could really play a bad guy well. I mean, he really just knocked it out of the park. And I would have loved to have met the Gunny before he passed, but I never got to meet him. I have a friend who was able to meet him, but I was never able to meet the Gunny. But those are the people that I managed to meet at this year's Comic-Con, and I really enjoyed just going, like, talking with different people. It was great just having that experience. The food at Comic-Con at the concession stand was great. The barbecue nachos I had, and then there's this place that was in the stand that selling like nuts and pecans and cashews and things like that from this nut place that's here in Central Arkansas that just has really good like chocolate covered nuts and coffee beans and like blueberries and cherries and all. So got some of that. And yeah, the price to get into Comic-Con all depends on what kind of pass you get. I wound up getting the weekend pass this year because I was not sure if I was going to go back down for any of the other days, but for a weekend pass at the door is like $90. And then if you get for just like Friday, I think it's like $40-50, because I think it was like 40 last year. But they do have you go through security. Whenever you do go to Comic-Con, they will wand you. They'll have you empty out your pockets. So they do have you go through security. And a lot of the vendors, different ones, do take cards or Apple Pay and all. But there are some that only take cash. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you go to Comic-Con. And yeah, it's just a really fun environment, and it'll be very interesting to see who all will be at next year's Comic-Con. But hopefully I'll be able to, Lord willing, I'll make it back down next year and meet some other cool folks that I've always wanted to meet. And I will tell you, I mean, it's really cool because, how I did my Squidward impression earlier. Roger Bumpus, it's a little story here I'll tell you before I end this video. Not necessarily Comic-Con related, but since I did my Squidward impression, I'll do this story real quick for you. I actually know people who know Roger Bumpus because Roger Bumpus actually did go to Little Rock Central High School in Little Rock, and I know people, one of the former news anchors here in Central Arkansas, who I know went to school with Bumpus, and then one of the individuals who I volunteer with at the Clinton Library, she went to school with him and his wife as well. And I was actually able to do my Squidward impression for Roger Bumpus. I've not met him yet, but it's pretty hilarious because Roger Bumpus did send a message back to the news anchor, Craig O'Neill's his name, sent a message back to him to give me about my Squidward impression, and he said for me to stay away from California and his job. That's pretty hilarious. And his wife, Angela, I really enjoyed. I've talked with her some before, but it's really been a blessing getting to meet all the people I've been able to meet. I mean, that's just my Comic-Con review for you, my experiences and the people I've met because of Comic-Con, and God blessing me with being able to attend and all. But I'll definitely have to share some other stories with you all soon about other well-known individuals I have met, because I have met others before, outside of Comic-Con. So I will make sure to share those in a future video. Hope y'all have a great day, and if you ever get a chance to go to Comic-Con, take advantage of that opportunity, because it is definitely well worth the money.